The Galaxy Council had been around for thousands of years. It was made up of many alien races, some peaceful, some not. Humans had only joined a few decades ago. They were the new kids on the block. Most species saw them as loud, fast, and too emotional, but humans worked hard to prove themselves. They helped rebuild war-torn planets. They sent aid during plagues. They even joined peacekeeping forces in dangerous parts of space. Slowly, the other species began to respect them, just a little. But respect was not the same as trust. One day, a human colony ship drifted into restricted space. It was a mistake. The crew said their navigation systems failed. The Council didn't care. They called it a violation of intergalactic law. They fined Earth. They banned all human ships from 3-star systems. They even demanded that Earth remove its weapons from key outposts. People back home were angry. Daniel Harper, a former diplomat, started speaking out. He said the Council treated humans like children. He posted messages online. He traveled from city to city. His words spread like fire. At the same time, Lena Carter was in deep space. She was a Navy officer. Her ship was near the border when an alien patrol ship fired on a civilian transport. The humans on board were killed. Lena asked for permission to respond. Command said no. Don't escalate, they told her. She watched the ship burn. Back on Earth, protests filled the streets. People shouted, "Enough is enough." Politicians tried to calm everyone down. They begged the Council for talks. The Council ignored them. Then came the final blow. The Council announced new rules. All human warships must be inspected. All military bases outside the solar system would be shut down. And any human colony found expanding without approval would be punished. It wasn't about safety. It was about control. President Karen Reed stood before the world. She spoke calmly. She said humanity would not be pushed around. She promised peace, but also warned, if the Council kept pushing, humans would not stay quiet forever. Her speech played on every screen across the colonies. In hidden rooms and secret meetings, plans began to change. Generals reviewed old files. Engineers powered up machines that hadn't run in years. And in the dark corners of space, human ships changed course. They were done being nice. Not because they wanted war, but because they had no choice. A secret meeting took place above Mars. It was held in a hidden station far from public eyes. Only a few were invited. Nathan Cole sat at the center of the room. He used to be a general. Now he was older, quieter, but still sharp. He looked around at the others, military leaders, scientists, and one very tired president. They were there to talk about Project Iron Will. It was a plan made years ago just in case. If the Council ever tried to control Earth, humanity would have a response. Most people thought it would never be needed. Now, they weren't so sure. Dr. Maya Bennett stood up. She was one of the smartest minds in human space. She showed them new weapons, faster ships, and machines that could fight without humans inside. Her voice was calm, but her message wasn't. "We can do this," she said. "But once we start, there's no going back." President Karen Reed didn't speak for a long time. She had spent her life trying to keep peace. She believed in talks, in diplomacy. But now, she saw the truth. The Council didn't want peace with humans. They wanted obedience. Finally, she nodded, not with joy, but with duty. Orders were sent out in silence. Fleets moved without warning. Bases deep in space began waking up after years of quiet. At the same time, Lena Carter got a message. It was short and clear. "You are cleared to move." She read it twice. Then she gave the order. Her ship turned away from the border and headed into unknown space. Daniel Harper was on Earth. He started broadcasting again. His words were different now, not just anger but hope. "We are not asking for war," he said. "We are asking for respect." The galaxy didn't know what was happening yet. But behind the scenes, everything was changing. Humanity was no longer waiting. They were getting ready, not to attack, but to stand tall. And this time, they wouldn't back down. Humanity began to disappear from the galaxy's eyes. Ships that used to patrol trade lanes were suddenly gone. Military bases went silent. Human diplomats stopped showing up at council meetings. It was like they had pulled back into their own corner of space. The council noticed, but not enough to worry. They thought humans were scared. They thought Earth was trying to avoid more punishment. Some even laughed about it. But behind the quiet, something else was happening. Nathan Cole watched reports come in from across human space. His teams were moving fast. Old ships were being upgraded. New weapons were being built in secret factories on moons and asteroids. Dr. Maya Bennett worked nonstop, checking every system, making sure nothing would fail when the time came. "We only get one shot," she said. "If we mess this up, there won't be a second chance." Meanwhile, Lena Carter led a small fleet far beyond known borders. Her mission was dangerous. She had to reach a hidden wormhole before anyone else did. If the council found out what she was doing, they would send everything they had to stop her. She didn't tell anyone where she was going, not even her crew. Back on Earth, Daniel Harper kept talking. He spoke through encrypted channels, reaching human colonies all over the galaxy. He told them the truth. The council didn't see humans as equals, they never had. "This isn't just about us," he said. "It's about respect. It's about freedom." Some people listened, others were afraid. But more and more started to believe him. Then, strange things started happening across the galaxy. Alien freighters vanished without a trace. Communication relays shut down for no reason. Some species reported seeing human ships near their borders, but when they checked, there was nothing there. The council sent messages asking what was going on. Earth didn't answer. President Karen Reed sat alone in her office. She knew the moment of truth was coming. Soon, the galaxy would realize that humanity hadn't backed down. They had been getting ready. And now, the first move was about to happen. No loud speeches, no formal warnings, just silence, and then action. The galaxy finally started to notice what was happening. Alien ships were disappearing. Communication lines were failing. Some colonies reported seeing human warships moving through deep space, silent and fast. But when the council asked for answers, Earth said nothing. Then came the message that changed everything. Daniel Harper stood in front of a live feed speaking directly to every human across the stars. His voice was calm but full of fire. "We have been treated like children for too long," he said. "We helped, we gave, we followed the rules. But the council only sees us as something to control." His words spread like lightning. Some humans cheered. Others feared what was coming. The aliens who heard him didn't know whether to be angry or afraid. Back on Earth, President Karen Reed stood before the world. She did not shout. She did not cry. She simply spoke the truth. "We are no longer under the rule of the Galaxy Council," she said. "From this moment on, we decide our own future." The galaxy exploded into chaos. Some alien leaders called it treason. Others saw it as the end of peace. Fleets began to move. Warnings were sent. Threats filled the air. But humanity was ready. "Nathan," Cole gave the order. Human ships hidden in deep space turned on their engines. They moved fast, hitting key targets without warning. Supply lines were cut. Outposts were taken. The surprise was complete. Lena Carter led the fight at EpicSciFiTales. An alien fleet tried to push back, but her forces were faster, smarter, and more determined. She didn't just win. She made a statement. This was no longer a game. Dr. Maya Bennett watched from command. Her machines worked perfectly. Drone swarms flew ahead of human ships, breaking enemy defenses before they could react. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. And then, the final blow. Human forces took control of a major wormhole junction. It was one of the most important points in known space. Whoever held it could control trade, travel, even war. The council was stunned. They had thought humans would run. Instead, they had struck first, and they had done it with power, skill, and silence. Now, the galaxy had no choice. War had begun. The war spread like fire across the stars. Human ships fought on many fronts. They were outgunned, outnumbered, and unknown to most of the galaxy. But they were fast, smart, and ready. Battles raged near Earth's colonies. Some human worlds fell silent as alien fleets moved in. Others became strongholds defended by soldiers who refused to give up. Nathan Cole led from behind the lines. He didn't care about fame or glory. He only cared about winning. Every move he made was planned, weeks ahead. He used small strikes to weaken big enemies. He turned space itself into a weapon. "We don't need to win every fight," he told his officers. "We just need to win the war." Dr. Maya Bennett stood in her lab watching reports come in. Her machines were everywhere now. Drone swarms cut through enemy shields like knives. Stealth carriers jumped behind enemy lines without warning. And then came the Aegis-class dreadnought. It was the first true human warship built for war alone, armed with stolen alloys, new weapons, and engines, faster than anything before it. The Aegis changed everything. One ship could hold off an entire fleet. When it appeared above ViewerShip, the tide began to turn. Lena Carter rode the Aegis into battle. She had seen too many friends die. She had watched helplessly while humans were pushed back. Now she led the charge. Her voice rang through every comms channel. "This is not just about survival, this is about pride, this is about respect." She led daring attacks that broke enemy supply lines. She took back lost colonies. She gave hope where there was none. Back on Earth, Daniel Harper traveled from city to city. He spoke to crowds, to soldiers, to families. He reminded them why they were fighting. "They tried to break us," he said. "But we are not broken." President Karen Reed held the center. She faced pressure from all sides. Some begged for peace. Others wanted full war. She walked the line between both, making hard choices every day. Some called her a leader, others a symbol. But all knew. She was the one holding Earth together, and slowly, the galaxy began to see the truth. Humans were not just fighting to survive. They were fighting to stand tall. And they were winning. The Galaxy Council was falling apart. What once seemed like an unbreakable alliance now cracked under pressure. Some members still stood firm, but others began to doubt. The humans were not backing down. Worse, they were winning. Rumors spread that some alien species had secretly helped humanity from the start. Stolen data, hidden ships, even silent warnings. Before attacks, all pointed to betrayal from within the Council itself. A coup attempt nearly brought the Council to war from within. It failed, but it showed how weak they had become. Meanwhile, Daniel Harper traveled across human space. He was no longer just a speaker. He was a leader. Where he went, people followed. He helped set up new governments in the colonies that had been freed. He made sure they stayed strong, united, and ready for what came next. Lena Carter led the final push on the Council's central relay hub. It was deep in enemy space, protected by layers of defense. But she didn't go head-on. She used speed, stealth, and surprise. Her fleet jumped in, struck hard, and jumped out before help could arrive. The result was chaos. Without the relay hub, the Council lost control over its fleets. Orders didn't reach ships. Supplies stopped moving. Whole systems were left blind. Nathan Cole saw the chance and took it. He offered peace but not submission. His terms were clear. Full recognition of human sovereignty, reparations for past harm, and a seat at the table as equals, or else the war would keep going. Some Council leaders laughed. Others saw the truth. Humans had gone from being ignored to being unstoppable. Darmaya Bennett kept working. Her labs ran non-stop, building machines, improving ships, planning for both peace and war. She knew the fight might not end in one day, but she also knew they had already changed history. President Karen Reed watched from Earth. She had held the line between war and peace. Now the choice was not hers alone. The galaxy had to decide, would they accept humanity as equals, or keep fighting a war they could no longer win? In the silence between battles, one thing became clear. Humanity was no longer the underdog. They were here to stay. Peace talks began on the moon of Tarsus 7. It was neutral ground, far from any war zones. Both sides sent their best minds, but neither came with full trust. The Galaxy Council had lost control of its fleets in many regions. Some alien leaders wanted to keep fighting. Others knew the truth. Humanity could not be beaten. After long days and hard words, a treaty was signed. Humans were now recognized as equals. They kept their colonies, their ships, and their freedom. They were even given a seat at the council table, not as guests, but as members with full power. It was not total victory, nor was it full surrender. It was something new. Back on Earth, people watched the signing on every screen. Some cheered, others wept. For the first time in history, humanity was not just allowed in the room. They helped decide what happened next. Daniel Harper stood before thousands in New York. He did not speak of war or revenge. He spoke of the future. "We fought for respect," he said. "Not because we wanted to win through blood, but because we refused to lose our voice." Lena Carter returned to Orbit Command. She was made Admiral of the new Terran Defense Fleet. Her name became legend, but she cared more about the soldiers who followed her than the fame. Nathan Cole stepped back. He had done what he came to do. Peace was not perfect, but it was real. And he knew peace only lasted when protected. Dr. Maya Bennett turned her focus to science once more. She built machines that healed planets, powered cities, and reached deeper into space. The weapons she made would still be there if needed, but now she hoped they wouldn't be. President Karen. Reed finished her term and left office quietly. She never sought statues or speeches. She had carried the weight of a world during fire and fear. And she had led it to peace. On the last day of the year, a message played across all human worlds. It showed stars, silent and endless, and a voice said, "We did not ask for this war. We did not want power, but we will never again be treated like we don't matter." The screen went dark. Then, one word lit up the sky: humanity.